Wah, wah, wah. Well, looks like another one gone from AEW. And just like clockwork, the fans have turned on this one too. In the last 6, 7 days, all I've heard about is, oh my god, she was a complete waste of time. Tony gave her everything and she just leaves like that. Oh my god, what a failure. And the last part I agree with, she was a failure in AEW, but not by her own merit, not because of herself. Listen, I've never been a big Jade Cargill fan. I agree with a lot of the criticism that she was perhaps too green to be thrust in the spotlight like that. But the fact is, it happened, right? And that's what Tony Khan chose to do. Now, the problem is that he didn't do it good. That's the problem. I can see why she would not be eager to stay with AEW because if you look at her booking, it's not that good. How many drop storylines has she had? Storylines that didn't go anywhere. I mean, wasn't she paired with Stokely Hathaway? What happened to that? What happened? Where did the baddie storyline even go? What was the point of that? What happened to the Bow Wow storyline? I don't understand. I'm confused. Did she ever get a singles match with Brandy? I mean, it was random. Everything she did on TV, it was like Tony Khan would book a storyline for her and then he'd forget about it the next week. It was weird. The booking for her was bad. We don't when people I think AEW fanboys need to understand that when people talk about good booking, booking someone good, they don't mean booking someone strong. Yeah, she was booked strong, okay, but there's a difference between being booked strong and being booked good. Generally, people like to have a creative direction for their character, a consistent creative direction. Not okay. Let's start this storyline, and then next week you go up to Tony. He's snoring up some coke, and he's like, "What was that? Who's Bow Wow?" You know what I'm saying? And the second problem with her booking was that she never. You can't remember any of her matches. Seriously, seriously. You cannot remember any of her matches at all. If your life depended on it, can you name any moment from 10 Jade Cargill matches? I'm just saying. I'm serious. I'm just saying. It's not been good booking. Being booked strong is fine, but people they like to have some kind of established storylines, established matches that you can remember. I mean, that's just common sense. She was booked against a bunch of jobbers. It seemed like she was like on her own island. Like people talk about the Codyverse. That seemed like Jade Cargill. She went 50 matches, 50 and 0. Couldn't remember two of them. And in the 50th match that she won, it was just random. It was just a random match. It wasn't a huge affair. It wasn't wild. There wasn't a big storyline surrounding it. It's like, was it even on a pay per view? Again, I can't remember. Was it on a random Dynamite or Rampage or something? I cannot remember. That's how forgettable her run in AEW was. She was only known for that streak, and that streak was like, it wasn't even like Goldberg's streak, where the stakes were always, well, sometimes, Goldberg. But she wasn't fighting like a Chris Jericho. She was fighting. I guess her best opponent was Athena and Taya Valkyrie. I guess, but even Taya Valkyrie has not been booked that good in AEW. So I mean, she never fought Britt Baker, never fought Hikaru Shida, never fought Tony Storm. I mean, I'm confused. I'm confused about why it's on Jade Cargill that Tony Khan does not know how to book consistently. I'm sorry, his booking is just so bad. I'm just thinking about all the drop storylines this guy does. And we used to as a former WWE fan myself, we used to joke about how Vince McMahon had dementia because he would like forget storylines. Tony Khan's got the Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm glad that she's going to WWE. She deserves a place that not only knows how to book women's wrestling, because AEW has no idea how to book women's wrestling, but also knows how to, sell someone of her aura, her character, her physique, whatever you want to label it. WWE knows how to do that. Listen, I was watching WWE. I grew up in that ruthless aggression era, right? And in the latter half, we had the great Khali. And Khali, WWE made you believe this guy was a monster, that he could beat anybody. It didn't matter how green he was, you know. Didn't matter that he couldn't tell a headlock from a padlock, you know. That none of that mattered. When that music hit, you were scared. You were like, "Oh my god, this guy is actually gonna harm somebody." When you saw him squeezing the life out of Rey Mysterio, you were like, "Oh man." When he took out Shawn Michaels, Edge, Randy Orton, John Cena, like, you knew this guy was the big deal. So if the rumors are true and they're putting her on the main roster and they're booking her as like the final boss of the women's division, great. That's what she should. She should be booked with the rest of the division, not on her own little island, squashing a bunch of no names and people who aren't even signed to the company. Great. That's great. And I have full faith that the game, Booker of the Year, Triple H, knows exactly what he's doing. Full faith in that man. Because you know what? For all that's bad that's said about Triple H, at least he remembers what he booked last week. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to get toxic. Look, I'm a former AEW fanboy. I've been watching AEW since the start. And I still can't remember what Jade Cargill did. Anyway, um, wishing all the success to Jade Cargill if the rumors are true. If she pops back up in AEW, then that would be a big mistake for her. As we've seen, people who stay in AEW, they get booked for like a couple weeks, and then Tony Khan once again forgets their story. I'm sorry. Tony, you gotta lay off of it. The white stuff, the nose candy, the powder. It does stuff to you. It does stuff to you. I'm sorry. You gotta lay off of it, man. All right. That's it for me. I'll see you guys in my next video.